What is going on, all of you amazing gamers out there in the world? I am MegaAmpster. Thank you for checking out this YouTube video. Whether you are a new or returning viewer, always great to have you here. Thank you for all the support. I wanted to talk today. I know, first of all, let me get this out of the way. I did say I was going to do the Kirby copy ability tier list before this video, but I'm not going to lie, I've been putting the tier list off, and I figured, you know what, I wanted to get a video out, especially because I haven't done a video idea poll for the month of January currently, as of this recording. So I figured, you know what, let's bump up the Yooka-Laylee one to talk about why I think this is a good game, and I feel like it gets a little bit of a bad rap. And I think the main issue, we'll get into it as I play through the game again. It's been, I think the last time I played it, I think was 2016, so it's been like over 7 years since I've played it. But from my memories, and maybe I'll be corrected here, but from what I remember, this is a fun game. It is not amazing, but it is a fun game that unfortunately had some really lofty expectations to rise up to the occasion for when, this game prior to release. If you don't know, this game was developed by Playtonic Games. They are a lot of Rare employees from the team who were behind Banjo-Kazooie and Tooie back on the N64. So a lot of them, they formed their own studio. They were no longer at Rare, and they developed this game. They also got Grant Kirkhope and David Wise and others to help with the soundtrack for this and Impossible Lair, which is kind of a sequel to this game. It's tough because this game is the first one. This is more in the style of Banjo-Kazooie, the 3D platformer collectathon. Whereas Impossible Lair takes a lot more inspiration. It is a 2D platformer taking inspiration from Donkey Kong Country, so even earlier in Rare's legacy. But this one is definitely focused more on the Banjo audience. So we're going to jump into here a bit. Oh, I forgot about the arcade as the arcade mode. We're not going to do that. But right off the bat, you can tell it has those vibes of Banjo-Kazooie, right? Yeah, look at this. All right, I put 20 hours into it. I think that's all the pages. Yeah, the other ones are empty. We'll go into the one that I already did, because why not? So, I guess spoilers for Yooka-Laylee if you want to go in fresh, because I might be in, like, the last world here. But the main reason why this is not seen as great of a game, it's just because it had such lofty expectations, because this was... And it was marketed, to be fair, as the spiritual successor to Banjo-Kazooie. But honestly, and now, because I played this game, it's funny, because I actually played this game before I ever played Banjo-Kazooie or Banjo-Tooie. Now, I just played Banjo-Tooie for the first time a year ago as of this recording. Banjo-Kazooie I played several years prior. But right off the bat, I'm just going to say... This game feels a lot more like Banjo-Tooie than Kazooie. Personally, I just played Tooie a year ago, and it definitely feels more like it to me. There are a lot of moves that are kind of similar to stuff that Banjo-Kazooie would have. You can see the swimming is a lot better in this game, I gotta say. Just overall, the controls are better. Like, one thing that, and it's kept me from, like, absolutely adoring Banjo-Kazooie. Banjo-Tooie, I'm just not a fan of how that game's laid out. But especially with Kazooie, one thing that has just kept me from adoring that game is the controls. The controls really have not aged super well, even on the Xbox 360 versions. This game is a lot more fluid to control, in my opinion. I gotta remember the controls. We got the jump and the glide. We've got the spin attack, of course. And you can tell, like, the dialogue is pretty reminiscent of, like, those noises that they would make in Banjo-Kazooie and Tooie, right? But Laylee is the bat and Yooka is the, I think. It's like I'm so quick in the comments. Is Yooka the lizard and Laylee's the bat? I'm 90% sure about that, but definitely correct me if I'm wrong there. But we've got kind of like the move that launches you up in the air, which from what I remember, you needed launch pads in Banjo-Kazooie to do that, so that's nice there. Of course, we've got ground pound with a spin attack there. I know there's other moves I'm probably missing. Oh, right, I forgot about this one that uses up some energy meter, like the Echo sonar attack that I believe Laylee has. So definitely a lot of moves. There's also, the rolling move. Right, the rolling move is nice. Kind of in replacement of, like, the Talon Trot from Banjo-Kazooie and Tooie. I still think Tooie has more moves than this game from what I remember, but honestly, Tooie had too many moves in my opinion. Like, I think... Personally, and like from what I remember playing and what I'm even feeling now, like this game is way more open than Kazooie. This really is more of a Tooie spiritual successor. And if you did watch my live streams of Banjo-Tooie about a year ago as of this recording, like I mentioned, one of the things I did not like about that game was all the constant backtracking you had to do. Now, I will say I think this game does a better job than Tooie in terms of that overall like really open structure. Kazooie, that's the thing, right? Is that everybody adores Banjo-Kazooie. Tooie is a lot more divisive. I personally didn't really enjoy it too much, but this game, for being more similar in layout to Tooie, in my opinion, it definitely, I don't know, it feels a lot better and more refined than Tooie. So for going for that same style as Tooie, I would still say this game is a lot more fun to play. It has the witty dialogue, it has the fun characters. The characters, I will say, aren't quite as memorable. I think there was a little more rare charm in Banjo-Kazooie and Tooie compared to this game, but like this was their first outing. I don't know, like right off the bat, like now it's coming back to me. It controls so much better in this game compared to both Banjo-Kazooie and Tooie. I would love to see remakes of those Banjo games because they could really use the refined controls. You know, that would make them even so much better. Let's jump into one of the worlds here and see. Is this the first world or is this another one? I'm trying to remember where this world is. But kind of instead of Jiggies, it is the first world. All right, Tribal Stack Tropics. Instead of Jiggies, you're collecting the different pages. I actually press the start menu to see the different pages here. And then instead of the notes, you have the feathers, like in those games. And there's a few other different kinds of collectibles too. I believe there's the retro coin. I remember that was for the arcade. I think to unlock more arcade games there, which has been a while. I don't fully remember. Also, Shovel Knight's in this game, which, I mean, hey, that's always a plus. Did I miss any? Crouch. Oh, I forgot about the flying left trigger. All right, I'm gonna have to check that out. Okay, there are a lot of moves in this game. And you could, okay, kind of like the eggs, they have the little different, like, how they flowers? I'm trying to remember exactly. That Yooka can shoot out. Yeah, you can kind of go into the first person mode and target that. Right, you can see the different ones there. Oh, the bubble, I forgot about the bubble. You can grapple with Yuka's tongue. So like the moveset's pretty cool. You turn invisible too, I forgot about that. Oh yeah, very cool. So, okay, I take back what I said earlier about there not being necessarily a ton of moves. There are plenty of moves still. How do I fly again? Oh, there we go. Okay. Right. But like, I still really think it feels so much better to play than Banjo-Kazooie and Tooie. Like, I gotta say, just the controls are so much better. Where's Shovel Knight? He was here before, from what I remember. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It feels a lot better. The characters, I will say, are definitely more interesting in those old N64 platformers, but just like already just messing around with this game. It looks great too. I mean, it looks amazing. You know, Banjo-Kazooie and Tooie, they still kind of look blocky, but it's hard to compare visuals because of how far apart these games were, right? Like almost 2 decades at that point. Believe it or not, this game is slowly coming up on its 10-year anniversary. It's been, what, a little over 7 years? So definitely interesting there. I'm trying to remember how you do this. The echolocator? All right. But yeah, like decent platforming gimmicks here, you know, and just, it feels really good to control. But definitely, I don't know, it has its shortcomings. Like, it's tough because for a game that came out during this era, it's not the most polished. Like, you can tell there's a little bit of, like, lack of polish here and there. But it's like, I don't know, I think because just compared to the original, you know, Banjo-Kazooie, you have such lofty expectations to live up to. Right, okay, yeah, I remember these ice pellets you could shoot out. It's like, you know, it definitely is missing that rare charm a little bit too, and I think that's probably a big thing. But, I mean, in terms of the gameplay, man, the worlds are huge. Probably even bigger than Banjo-Tooie, but I don't know, I think the level design's honestly a lot better than Banjo-Tooie in that regard. It's a lot more open, sure, but it's like, I don't know, it just feels better to play, and it feels like they've just designed the levels inherently better, because there was definitely a lot of backtracking in Banjo-Tooie, and I think to the game's detriment. You know, this game is a lot more streamlined. You know, it's hard to tell from the basic gameplay I'm doing here, but I don't know. The characters are definitely lacking. That I will say. And I hear it gets better in Impossible Lair. But, you know, the gameplay here is still fun. I mean, I would personally love, so one reason why I decided to make this video now, just a little bit, not like it's going to be super time sensitive, but supposedly, I don't think they've confirmed it, but correct me in the comments if Playtonic has confirmed, but I believe it's just a rumor at this point that they are working on a sequel to this game, not Impossible Lair, which is kind of interesting. It sounds like they want to, you know, give the 3D platformer collectathon another chance, which I think they should, because I think they could refine this setup a lot and really make a great game. You know, this one's still really fun in my opinion, but make it even better. I would love to see them actually go more to the constrained design of Banjo-Kazooie, because honestly, I think, except with the exceptions of like maybe Rusty Bucket Bay and Click Clock Woods, some of the later levels in Banjo-Kazooie, oh man, I think Banjo-Kazooie thrives on its more constrained level design. You know, whereas this and Tooie both have a bit of the problem of, you know, just being way too open. But I still think this game does the open areas a lot better than Tooie, in my personal opinion. You know, feel free to argue against it otherwise. But it was really the backtracking in Tooie that was just really, really bad for having such open levels. Whereas I don't remember a lot of backtracking in this game necessarily. Maybe there is. I mean, it's been a while since I fully played through it. But, you know, it's definitely the main thing, I think. It's just, it is more of a slog than Kazooie for sure to get through some of these. And it is more spread out than Kazooie. So as a result, it's kind of, there are a lot of empty areas, but Tooie has the exact same problem in my opinion. The characters are definitely lacking compared to, you know, the Banjo-Kazooie and even Tooie. But it's really, unfortunately, this is what happens with those spiritual successor-like games, right? Is you have such lofty expectations because people hold these original games in such high regard, you know? And then unfortunately, so like in some cases it happens where it's really tough to live up to those original expectations. You know, I think, like, for example, Sea of Stars being like a Chrono Trigger-like spiritual successor, I think it did a great job from what I hear, you know? And that's, unfortunately, I think that's kind of a rare case because people have such high expectations for these original classic games, you know? And unfortunately, it's like, it's hard to live up to those expectations because nostalgia does play a big factor into that, you know? But, like, it's just, yeah, it's just, the bar is so high. But I think I definitely get the complaint about this game being a little too open for its own good. And I definitely think that's still the case because, I mean, you can even see in this level, and this is only the first level, right? It's very open, definitely empty in some areas, but it feels really good to play, which is important for a 3D platformer like this. Like, this feels way better to play than Banjo-Kazooie or Tooie. Oh, there we go. You know? So it feels so much better. That's a big part of it, you know? But obviously the level design's a big aspect too. Like I said, I think this game does it better than Tooie. Kazooie thrives on its more constrained level design, which this game does not really have as much of, but I would love to see if they make a Banjo, like a sequel to this game with, you know, more constrained level design, like Banjo-Kazooie. I think that would be a recipe for success, you know? We're almost seeing a comeback of 3D platformer collectathons in recent years from indie studios, and I mean, Playtonic's bigger than ever, so they'd probably have a bigger budget, you know, and have more time to develop and test. You know, if they're working on it right now, I'd be very excited for that personally, because there was a lot of promise here, you know, based on what they were able to show off with this game. You know, I can't talk about this game forever because I don't want this video going forever, especially since I haven't played it, you know, legitimately in many a year, but it still sticks out of my mind as a really fun, solid game. You know, I wouldn't say it's great. I wouldn't put it on the level of Kazooie, but I would certainly say it's designed better than Tooie. That's just my opinion, though. You know, you all know my opinion. If you've watched my streams of Banjo-Tooie, not the biggest fan of it because of all that backtracking, but, and the controls are tough, but I'm just going to leave this video off there. I don't want to go too crazy with that. There are some minecart sections which are interesting. Some of the later worlds are definitely tricky, like the swamp area wasn't very fun if you know what that is. The outer space area was a little too outer space, you know, it was too big of a space really to enjoy too much. This karting minigame also is not fun, but it's just like a side arcade thing. I'm not even gonna bother playing that because I don't remember that being fun at all, but I don't know, I just kind of wanted to go back and like mainly just get a feel for the game again because it's been so long, you know, since I played that original game. Like I said, just to summarize again, it's lacking a bit of the rare charm with the characters and polish, and I mean, it is more open than Kazooie, which compared to Kazooie, yes, Kazooie is definitely better than this game. But I don't think comparing this game to Banjo-Kazooie is a fair comparison. Because first of all, this was the studio's first game, after leaving Rare. But also, this game is way more similar to Tooie, and I think this game is much better than Banjo-Tooie. But that's also just me. I'd be curious, Banjo fans or even Yooka-Laylee fans, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Are you a big fan of this game, or do you prefer Banjo-Kazooie and do you prefer Tooie? And if they are making a sequel to this, are you excited for Playtonic to return to this gameplay style? I personally am. I think there's a lot of potential, and I think it could be a lot better than this game even. So with that, just wanted to say why, this is not a bad game. Far from it. This is a fun game. Good, I wouldn't say great, but still a good, solid 3D platform collectathon that I think bring another one soon, and I think it could be even better. So with that, thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate your time. I will catch you all on the next video or live stream, and until then, keep on platforming, collecting those jiggies or pages or whatever. Collect good things in life. That's all that matters. Catch you on the next one. Take care.